Hello, everyone. Welcome to the U.S. Immigration Hub News. Family-based immigration has always been deeply personal because behind every petition number and every receipt notice, there is a real family waiting, hoping, and planning their future around a process they cannot fully control. As we move into January 2026, many families have been hoping and wondering whether this year will finally bring relief after years of delays, shifting rules, and unpredictable processing timelines. The good news is that something meaningful is happening right now, and it directly affects family-based green card applicants across the world. In this video, we're going to walk through the most important family-based green card updates arriving in January 2026, including why some cases are suddenly moving faster, what major rule and processing changes families need to understand, and the critical mistakes you must not make that could quietly destroy months or even years of waiting if you're not careful. If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it so that you can get updates straight to your smartphone. Now, let's get into the video. For many families, the first sign of change has already shown up in the form of movement. Files that were sitting untouched for months are suddenly being reviewed. Interview notices are appearing again for spouses, parents, and children of U.S. citizens. Adjustment of status cases that felt frozen are now seeing real progress. This is not accidental, and it's not random. Behind the scenes, USCIS has entered January 2026 with internal directives that are pushing family-based cases forward more aggressively than they did in much of 2024 and 2025. One of the biggest reasons families are seeing faster green card movement is workload rebalancing. USCIS has quietly shifted officers and resources back toward family-based immigration after a heavy focus on employment-based and humanitarian cases in prior years. That shift matters because immediate relatives of U.S. citizens are not subject to numerical caps, and when resources are aligned properly, those cases can move quickly. Spousal green cards, parent petitions, and unmarried children under 21 are all benefiting from this renewed attention. At the same time, cases moving through consulates abroad are also seeing changes. The NVC has streamlined how documents are reviewed in January 2026, especially for family preference categories that were stuck in repeated document rejections. Families are reporting fewer unnecessary checklist requests and clearer guidance on what is actually required. That alone is shaving months off the overall timeline for many applicants waiting overseas. But faster movement does not mean fewer rules. In fact, January 2026 comes with some major procedural changes that families must understand clearly. One of the most important is how USCIS is handling requests for evidence, or RF. Officers are now issuing more targeted RF instead of broad catch-all requests. That sounds like good news, but it also means your response must be precise. Sending extra unrelated documents can actually slow your case down or trigger additional scrutiny. In 2026, more is not always better. Another major change affecting family-based green cards is how interviews are being scheduled and waived. USCIS has expanded interview waivers for certain low-risk cases, especially long-standing marriages with strong documentation histories. However, this does not mean interviews are going away. Instead, interviews are being prioritized for cases with inconsistencies, prior immigration history issues, or missing information. Families should understand that an interview waiver is not a right, and trying to game the system by over-scripting answers or altering timelines can backfire badly. January 2026 also brings updated guidance on medical exams and form validity. Many applicants were caught off guard in the past when medical exams expired mid-process, forcing costly repeat exams and delays. USCIS has clarified validity periods and is coordinating better internally so that cases are adjudicated while medicals are still valid whenever possible. This change alone is reducing stress for families who previously feared losing months of progress over paperwork timing. Now, let's talk about something just as important as the good news: the things you must not do. Every January, USCIS sees a spike in avoidable mistakes because applicants rush, panic, or follow outdated advice online. In 2026, these mistakes are more dangerous than ever. The first major don't is changing addresses without properly updating USCIS. Even a short move can cause interview notices or RF to be sent to the wrong address. Missing one notice can lead to denial or closure of your case. Online forwarding with the Postal Service is not enough. USCIS requires a formal address update, and failing to do that is one of the most common reasons families lose valuable time. Another critical mistake is traveling internationally without understanding your case status. Many adjustment applicants assume that having a receipt notice is enough to travel. It is not. Leaving the U.S. without proper advanced parole can be interpreted as abandoning your green card application. In January 2026, USCIS officers are enforcing this rule strictly, and families are learning the hard way that assumptions can cost them everything. Financial documentation is another area where families make costly errors. Sponsors sometimes change jobs or income sources and forget to update their affidavit of support information. In 2026, USCIS is cross-checking financial data more closely, and inconsistencies can trigger RF or even denials. If something changes, transparency is always safer than silence. Families should also be extremely cautious about advice circulating on social media. Every immigration case is unique, and copying someone else's strategy can lead to unintended consequences. What worked for a friend in 2023 may be completely wrong under 2026 rules. USC's policy memos evolve quietly, and outdated guidance spreads faster than official corrections. There is also growing concern around misrepresentation, even if unintentional. Small discrepancies in dates, addresses, or employment history can raise red flags. In January 2026, USCIS officers are trained to look for consistency across all forms and prior filings. This means families must review everything carefully before submitting updates or responses. Honest mistakes can still cause delays, but inconsistent stories can cause much worse outcomes. One question many families are asking right now is whether politics plays a role in these changes. While immigration policy always exists in a political environment, the current focus on family-based processing is largely administrative. That said, discussions around future immigration priorities under figures associated with the Trump era continue to influence long-term planning within agencies. Families should stay informed, but not panic over speculation. What matters most is how current rules are being applied today. Looking ahead through 2026, family-based green card applicants should expect a mix of opportunity and responsibility. Faster processing is possible, but only for those who stay organized, respond carefully, and avoid common traps. Processing timelines are improving in many categories, but a single misstep can still send a case backward. For families who have been waiting years to reunite, these January 2026 updates offer something rare in immigration news: cautious optimism. The system is not perfect, and delays still exist, but real movement is happening. Spouses are being reunited. Parents are finally joining their children. Families are seeing progress that once felt impossible. The most important thing you can do right now is stay informed, stay patient, and stay precise. Immigration rewards preparation and consistency, not shortcuts. If you treat your case with care, January 2026 could be the turning point your family has been waiting for. That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration Hub News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas such as B1 and B2, work visas such as L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the U.S. Immigration Hub news channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next